Okay, the time has come to put the radio back into the case. Here is the case cabinet. You're going to need three tools. You're going to need a 1/4-inch socket and a 5/16 socket. 5/16 is for these two bolts, and a small Phillips screwdriver. The way the chassis goes in, there's two holes in the bottom of the chassis that these screws go through, then meet the bottom of the chassis. So I'll show you that. So there's one hole here and one hole here. So actually, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put these black push knobs in that push the switches for changing the bands, and that goes here. Okay, and I already took the knobs off the front of the radio, which is important. So now we're going to set the chassis kind of right here. I'm going to hook up these speaker wires, and I wrote down when I took this thing apart months ago how this thing goes, and this little light, I'll show you where this light goes. Here's my little map I made months ago. Black, tan, yellow. So, maybe hard to see, but basically I'm just pushing this onto the speaker terminal. Black, tan, skip one terminal, and then yellow. Now the light bulb goes on this tab here. There's actually a hole there. Kind of get it to set into the hole. And this will light up if you put a D-cell battery at the other end of the wire, which I can show you in a minute. Now we're going to lift this up, slide it in. Oh, and I made a nice little sticker here that says filter pack. And for the tube that we took out, I forgot to show you, but I put a sticker on that says leave empty. Let me back this out a little bit and grab the power cord. And run it outside the cabinet. Actually, you know what? Of course, everything's sticking on me now. I want to take it out for a second. Let me take this, put it through now. That way I don't have to fight it. Okay, put my light bulb back on. My light bulb's on, my cord's popping out, my push buttons are in, speaker's hooked up. Let's see here. Did the wires come over the top? There it goes. Now let's turn it around and see if the knobs are sticking out. The shafts. Okay, they're not sticking out yet. So let's see here. I'll close this and let gravity help me here. Now let's check it. I don't know, it seems like it's sticking in there a little bit too much. Well, let's go with that. So, close that. Turn this around. And take one bolt. And I'll look in there. I'll have to look in there as I'm doing it. One of them started. Start the next one. I'll look in there and make sure I know what I'm doing. Just get them snug. Okay. Now what should I do next? Take the wave magnet and pass the wave magnet through this hole. And the wave magnet gets secured by these two screws in nice little folds, and then goes in here. Whoops, sorry. Goes right here. We'll come back to that in a minute. Let's see how the front looks. See if the knobs will go on. Okay, I can get to all four of those little switches. Knob on. Knob on. Everything looks nice and straight in there. Now we'll do the wave rod. So what I did for the hardware for the wave rod is I put it back where I found it so I wouldn't lose it. Of course, with all that motion, these washers sunk way in there. See if I can get them off with gravity. Yep. And now the wave rod. I'll show you how the wave rod works, since part of it you can't see. So there's a clip here on the wave rod that comes down and meets this ring, and the ring has a gap so that this clip can grab it, and it's spring loaded. So when you're feeling this thing from the top of the radio, you turn it around until it meets that spot and it pops out. I got this off a Parts Radio because the one that came with this, the clip was broken and actually laying in the radio. And what you have a problem with is it'll pop out, which is kind of precarious. It's very easy to get damaged if this is sitting on a shelf and that thin part is sticking out. So you want to make sure that you very carefully close this, feel the gap, and then turn it so that it stays down. So this is the hardware for the wave rod. Let's see here. I'm going to make sure this wire is close to that point right here. So let's see. Methinks it's upside down. So I flipped it over. There. So now we'll take the 1/4 inch socket, 1/4 inch, start our first nut and washer, and our second nut and washer. Tighten it up. That's a deep socket. Oh, it's just fighting me because of the roundness of the bracket. It's fighting me because it's getting pushed out, but I should be able to snug it up. There we go. Now this piece goes in here. That is for shortwave bands, and the wave magnet is for AM. So now we'll just fold this, take off these little nuts here. Let's see here. And put this back on these little studs. Put the nuts back on. I got a twist in it. I'll fix that later off camera. I wasn't paying attention, but you get the idea. This closes up, and it's all back in there. We'll pull the cord out. See if I can get it to lock. No, can't get it to lock.
A person who made a lasting difference.
To find out more, contact your local children's charity.
And it works.
Or call
So,
1-866-4KIDS-P.
they're going to call that a wrap. Thanks for watching.
866-4KIDS-P. Or visit
One more thing I forgot to tell you about, one last screw. Remember I mentioned the little Phillips screwdriver? There is a little screw that goes in this bracket right here that I'm shining the light on, and that just kind of secures the chassis to the top. So it'll be a little dark, but I'll put that in real quick. There. Now it's complete. And I got the wave magnet attachment fixed. And that buzz when we turned on the radio is gone because I had a fluorescent light right above it that was causing that.